Get ready for an incredible tale that will touch your heart. A compassionate animal rescuer tenderly caressed the head of a sorrowful dog, yet the ensuing reaction from this canine companion brought tears to the eyes of countless individuals. Join us on this journey to witness the remarkable events that transpired. In the sprawling city of Los Angeles, imposing concrete embankments line the river's path. These sturdy structures have successfully contained the rising water levels without any repercussions. The water remains safely within its boundaries, never breaching the embankment walls. However, this also means that anyone or anything unfortunate enough to find themselves within these confines would face an arduous journey, as escape is virtually impossible along the lengthy stretch. The piece of river that was part of today's story went through one of the neighborhoods that weren't as affluent as some in law, and still, it shows how caring people can be and how they can try to help out even when they have very little. In the vicinity of the riverbank, the neighboring residents became aware of a sight that tugged at their heartstrings: an animal huddled in a curled-up position within the dry riverbed. The water level was meager, intensifying the difficulty of the situation. As the dog roused from its slumber and rose to its feet, it became evident that it was a German shepherd, visibly emaciated and displaying traces of gray in its coat, indicating its advanced age. The compassionate onlookers felt overwhelmed as they pondered how to extend aid. The distance was too great for a simple reach, and even with two people interlocking their ankles, they could not descend into the pit. A ladder proved insufficient, and uncertainties plagued their minds regarding the retrieval of the dog. Moreover, the sheer size of the canine instilled a sense of apprehension among them. They didn't know how he would react if one of them got too close to him. It was difficult, they hoped, that the dog, who all of them started calling Biggie, could manage to find his way out on his own. In the meantime, they all took turns, throwing food down to the dog, ensuring he had something to eat every day. But he wasn't getting out, and he seemed to be getting sadder and more desperate to get out. They had phoned a few places, but no one had responded until the neighbors phoned the rescue organization Hope for Paws. Eldad Hager was the one receiving the call to come and help this dog. He was always ready to drop everything and help an animal in need, but sadly this time he was out of town when the call came. Luckily, he was flying back and already at the airport, so he knew that he would have to spring into action as soon as he got home. He wouldn't leave Biggie in there scared and alone for any longer than he absolutely needed to. Waiting for his flight to board, he started making arrangements. He heard that Biggie was a German shepherd or a mix of that breed, so he knew that it was going to be a big dog that they would rescue. The rest of the details weren't clear, so he didn't know what the rescue was going to entail yet, but at least he could make the arrangements for Biggie to have somewhere to live after they saved him. All the foster families that would normally take in big dogs on behalf of Hope for Paws were completely full. With no available space to accommodate another large breed dog, the challenge of finding a safe haven for Biggie weighed heavily on their minds. Eldon, undeterred, reached out to Coastal German Shed Rescue and secured an immediate spot for Biggie with Tiffany Norton. However, the rescue operation had to take place first. After arriving home from his flight, Eldon swiftly dropped his bag, snatched his keys, and hastened to the specified location in his rescue vehicle. Organizing a meeting with his team, Eldon discovered a group of concerned individuals peering down at Biggie, who seemed oblivious to their presence. The forlorn state of the dog pierced Eldon's heart, yet an even greater predicament loomed before them. The riverbed was far deeper than anticipated, rendering Eldon's ladder insufficient for reaching the bottom. He really didn't want to leave the dog there for another night. But how was he going to get down to help Biggie? Some of those around him offered their ladder too. They would have to tie the two together, and if the one was slightly broken, but at least it would be long enough to reach the bottom. But how would they get the dog back outside for that? They did have a plan. They would put Biggie into their big rescue crate, and then put ropes around the grate and pull him up and out to freedom. It wasn't going to be a fun experience for the poor dog, but at least he would be safe while they lifted him out, and they could help him and then put the whole ordeal behind him. The time came for Eldon to get down the ladder. This was going to be a lot harder than he had expected. He was terrified of heights, and this wobbly ladder was not helping his fears at all. Plus, he had a really bad experience with ladders as a kid. He explained that he had experienced some trauma as a kid. He was 6 at the time and decided to climb a tall ladder without his parents' knowledge. Then when he got to the top, he looked down to see how far he had come, and that was when things turned bad. The turn made him off balance and he fell. Surprisingly, he didn't break any bones when he hit the ground. Instead, he would just be really bruised. But as he hit the ground, he bit his tongue really badly and had a hole in the tongue. He had to go and find his parents with blood streaming out of his mouth. They rushed him to the hospital where he was given antibiotics and painkillers and told to only eat soft foods for a few weeks. It made sense that he didn't have a massive love of climbing down a ladder, but he said that the mission before him really helped. He knew that he had to help Biggie, and that forced him to face his fears and get down there. The sound of the crate and the ladder being put down seemed to spook Biggie, and he ran away from Eldon. When he got into the river, Eldon knew that he would have to be patient. Getting the dog inside the crate and lifted out of the river was going to be difficult enough. He didn't want to add a dog that was even more frightened than he needed to be. For a while, Eldon just sat on the cement ground and waited for the dog to get used to his presence. Without posing any threat, Biggie cautiously inched closer to his rescuer, gradually overcoming his fear. Soon he was within Eldon's reach, who extended his hand to make contact with the dog. As Eldon began to stroke him, Biggie simply melted into his touch, absorbing the affection and care bestowed upon him with gratitude. It was evident that he possessed a gentle and affectionate nature, alleviating any concerns about potential aggression. However, when the time came to attach the leash and guide him into the crate, his anxiety heightened significantly. Once again, the dog darted away, evading any attempts to draw it near. Eldon, gripping the leash, entrusted it to another rescuer. Meanwhile, he cautiously approached Biggie, desiring the dog to shut its eyes while they secured the leash. In an effort to reassure the canine, Eldon gently stroked its head. But what unfolded next left millions of people moved to tears. As Eldon's touch graced the dog, tears cascaded from its eyes, a poignant display of emotions. The gentle love it received deeply affected the dog, leaving everyone to wonder about the hardships it had endured. Determined to make a difference, they embarked on helping the dog. With closed eyes, they secured a leash and guided the dog to the crate. It entered effortlessly, remaining calm as they ascended from the embankment. Even when the crate needed turning to clear the fence, the dog patiently awaited rescue. Eldon had to climb out once more, buoyed by the dog's bravery. Now Biggie finds solace in a foster home on the path to a permanent safe haven. Fear is replaced with care, and a bright future awaits. I hope you liked this video. Please share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.